Riakou gonna invest that Protect Shield before looking for that full Thundershock farm down, leaving absolutely loaded. Riakou, the absolute nuke machine. Out comes Golurk, but Golurk gonna be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. As is the holiday season, my upload schedule is going to be pretty inconsistent as I look to spend as much time with my family as I physically can. However, with that being said, we have got a shorter upload today, but my god, some things really are short and sweet. Recently, I had the pleasure of shoutcasting the highly talented battler Rolling the Heat, featuring Riakou in the Open Master League. I actually commented saying I don't have a single Shadow Riakou whatsoever, so he was kind enough to submit some battles in the Open Ultra League. Today, we've not just got one of the buff Thundershock users, we've got that buy one, get one free combination as we've got Riakou and Zapdos on the same team. I always have a terrible habit of yapping for far too long in the intros, need I say any more than that? Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we lead the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death into Gator. It's a no thank you from Rolling the Heat, the say switch into Riakou, baiting out Guzzlord. On paper, Riakou completely walled by Guzzlord, but Riakou only having nuke charge moves, simply does not care about type-ins. Rolling the Heat able to land the Shadow Ball, he then farms up to the double wild charge. The first one forces the Protect Shield, the second is going to rock the opponent deep into the red health range. Riakou in a type negative matchup, able to put in so much work. The name of the game is to use Riakou in this ABB team to bait out the opponent's best counter for an electric type, freeing the path for Shadow Zapdos to do Shadow Zapdos things and nuke the backline. We send out Talonflame, using it as the damage sponge. Talonflame looking for that full Incinerate farm down, which we're unable to get before Guzzlord spams off Brutal Swing after Brutal Swing. We leave with the Brave Bird that we're going to YOLO at the returning Gator. Brave Bird rocks the opponent deep into the red health range, and it is Zapdos time. We see the instant shield deployed as we block up the incoming Hydro Cannon. We're able to Thundershock farm down Gator. Out comes Typhlosion. Typhlosion instantly greeted with the Drill Peck. The first one goes unshielded, but the super spammy Zapdos says there's plenty more of where that comes from. We look to throw on the charge attack priority. The opponent takes the extra Incinerate, and this is going to get close. The opponent actually throw a charge move, which is a mistake. Zapdos now has the Drill Peck bank. We shield up the Thunder Punch, throw the next Drill Peck, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, this time we see a much better lead with Talonflame into Pangoro. The opponent says no thank you, say switch into the hot air balloon, and we send out Riakou. Despite the buff Thundershocks hitting for super effective, the opponent's astonished damage is tearing through our HP stat. We shield up the Icy Wind. We then farm up to the double wild charge. The opponent unlikely to shield, as if they shield once, they'll be forced to double shield. The opponent sacks the balloon, back out comes Pangoro, but Riakou still not done. Fires off the next wild charge. The opponent looks for that Karate Chop farm down, but Riakou just refuses to die, reaches one further wild charge, rocking the opponent down to around a third health. Rolling the Heat sends back out Talonflame. The opponent go for the correct 2 Karate Chops and the Night Slash, only giving away 1 free turn. Night Slash doesn't do too much, but there is the boost. Despite the opponent buffing their own attack, the next Night Slash isn't lethal and Talonflame is going to be able to Incinerate farm down. The opponent sends out Gliscor. Gliscor instantly greeted with the Brave Bird. Brave Bird forces the final Protect Shield, and once again Zapdos enters the field of play. Gliscor's ground flying typing means they do single resist electric, but they do not resist the flying type damage. You can see that 2 Drill Pecks more or less remove them from the field of play. We Thundershock them into range with the next Drill Peck. We'll get the job done, and we're going to emerge victorious. GG's. In the next battle, we see the Firebird of Death into the ever-annoying Steel Snake. This season, the buff variant of Thunderfang makes Steelix a pretty good answer to Talonflame. The opponent goes for the Psychic Fangs, debuffing our defense, meaning these Thunderfangs are now going to start tearing through Talonflame's HP. We fire off the fly, forcing a Protect Shield, and see the pivot once again into our say switch of Riakou. The opponent doesn't farm up to an Earthquake, but in fairness, that Shadow Crunch did a lot of damage Shadow and Shadow Crime, and they're able to force the debuff on our defense. The opponent then pivots out into Sand Slash. What the heck is this team? What does this team do against a fighting type? I have no idea. Riakou able to land back-to-back wild charges, removing Sand Slash from the field of play. Back out comes Steelix. Steelix able to get the resisted Thunderfang farm down. We send back out Talonflame. Talonflame fires off the fly. Fly isn't quite lethal, but we're able to snipe with Zapdos. Zapdos gets the Thundershock farm down, and once again Gliscor enters the field of play. Rolling the Heat with a 2-to-1 shield advantage. This game is signed, sealed and delivered. The opponent playing out the inevitable. They fire off the Night Slash. You shouldn't really shield the first, but with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, there really is no point in messing around. You may as well use your shields, unlike me, and save them for next season. Zapdos able to fire off Drill Peck after Drill Peck, and we're going to once again emerge victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see more or less the same lead, with the only difference being this is the regular variant of the Steel Snake, not the Shadow. We farm up, look to fire off the Fly. The opponent looks to make the catch of what they probably expect to be a Flame Charge. Unfortunately for the opponent, we haven't got Flame Charge, so we are going to fire off the Fly, landing for neutral damage on the incoming Giratina. We then see the save switch into Riakou. Riakou with that Shadow Ball coverage. Rolling the Heat farms up, full sends the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball goes unshielded. Holy, look at the damage. I wasn't expecting it to remove Giratina from the field of play, but it did. My God, Rolling the Heat, what are you doing to me? I'm already jealous I don't have this Pokemon. And after shoutcasting this, I'm even more sad than I already was. We see another ABA team. This time the opponent running ABA Ground as opposed to ABA Steel. We fire off the Fly, forcing a Protect Shield and see the pivot into Zapdos. Zapdos going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the first Poison Fang. Again, with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, the Glassy Shadow Zapdos doesn't really play like a lot of Pokemon. Usually you don't want to shield the first move with debuff effect, but Zapdos essentially cannot tank a hit for shit. Rolling the Heat very quickly burns both Protect Shields. The opponent then pivots back out into Steelix. Steelix gets greeted with the Drill Peck. Drill Peck removes them from the field of play. We then pivot back out into Talonflame. Reach the Fly. Is Fly enough to knock out? Oh, no, it's not. But the opponent doesn't commit to the Poison Jab farm down. I think they had to as they're not doubled up. Zapdos comes back out, gets the resisted Thundershock farm down, and we take a very, very close game. GG's to both trainers. In the next battle, we see Drifblim in the lead. Rolling the Heat, not messing around. YOLO in the Brave Bird. I love it. Brave Bird. Boo. Forces a Protect Shield. We then see the pivot into Riakou, and our Riakou save switch is answered by Cobalion. I'm quite surprised to see the opponent not chip and dip. They fire off the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword doesn't get the job done. Riakou farms up to the double wild charges. You know the drill. The first one goes unshielded, and the second one's either going to knock them out or force the opponent all shields down. The opponent recognise they can't go down to Protect Shields. Send back out Drifblim. Drifblim gets that Astonish farm down. Rolling the Heat waits out his clock, sends Talonflame back onto the field of play. Icy Wind won't be lethal, but Shadow Ball will get the job done. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind. Rolling the Heat hangs on, fires off the Fly. Fly forces that final Protect Shield, and Zapdos now has a 2-to-0 shield advantage. Rolling the Heat very quickly burns the first Protect Shield, blocking up the first Icy Wind. Oh, this is going to get annoying. The opponent able to force a 2-stage debuff on Zapdos attack. Zapdos looks for that full Thundershock farm down. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down. Save Drifblim. Send out Primate. Primate able to survive the Drill Peck as we have got a 2-stage lowered attack, but the next Drill Peck removes them from the field of play. Back out comes Drifblim and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we see Shadow Golurk in the backline. Certainly doesn't want to see it. The opponent save switch into Drapion. Rolling the Heat opts to stay in. The opponent lightly fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail, a non-stab move, but the Shadow variant of Drapion hits hard enough for it to 2-shot. Rolling the Heat, gonna opt to shield the next Aqua Tail before firing off the Fly. Fly with the Incinerate damage, lightly force our Protect Shield back. The opponent does deploy that Protect Shield. Rolling the Heat doubled up, gonna go back to back. The second Fly also goes shielded, and we see the pivot into Riakou. Now we've got all shields down. Riakou going to be chomping at the bit to get his mitts on that Golurk. Oh boy, I certainly need some work on these rhymes. Riakou going to invest the Protect Shield, shielding up the Aqua Tail before looking for that Thundershock farm down. Golurk cannot return or it'll get one shot. The opponent clearly with Death Wish. Send out Golurk. Golurk going to be straight in and straight out. There's a big boom. Out comes Licky. Far too thicky. Riakou still not done. Going to fire off the Wild Charge. Rocking Licky, far too thicky. Below half health. We show him Zapdos. The opponent says no thank you and concedes the match. Riakou again popping off. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Incinerate user. I'm going to anticipate in us looking to catch a Thunder Punch onto Riakou. Rolling the Heat stays in. The opponent fire off the Thunder Punch. As they're the non-shadow variant, it isn't all that threatening. We are full sending the Brave Bird. Brave Bird forces us an early shield advantage. We do attempt that catch onto Riakou unsuccessfully. The opponent now at a Blast Burn. We are going to respect it. The opponent full send the Blast Burn. The opponent continue to stay in. We waste no time. Full sending the Wild Charge. Wild Charge force the opponent all shields down. The opponent is going to have to fire with a Blast Burn to remove us from the field of play. I don't think Thunder Punch will get the job done. Thunder Punch isn't lethal. The opponent saved Typhlosion on a sliver of HP and opt to send out Greninja Trainer. Ooh, there's a big one-shot. The opponent running double water. You know how this one's going to end. Out comes Zapdos. We fire off the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt picks up that one shot. Get that Primarina off my screen. Back out comes Typhlosion. Rolling the Heat. Still with a Protect Shield. Blocks up the Thunder Punch. Reaches the Drill Peck. And that is a very quick game with plenty of big booms. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, if I can get my composure back, we see the mirror lead. The opponent say switches into Gator and we respond with Riakou. We're going to opt to tank this Hydro Cannon, which I imagine is going to do big damage. Holy cow, I don't even think we can get the double up. So if the opponent wants to flip alignment, they can simply shield and commit to the Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent does exactly that, flipping alignment, which is pretty sad for us. However, perhaps that's a little bit hasty. We all know Shadow Zapdos fries with shield advantage. Shadow Zapdos enters the field of play. We're going to see the Hydro Cannon blocked up. The opponent already at the double. So we've gone from shield advantage to shield disadvantage. Zapdos going to overfarm before firing off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck will be lethal. And I imagine the opponent opt to let this go as we are doubled up. Well, what do I know? The opponent falls into the trap. Blocking up the first Drill Peck, the second removes Gator from the field of play. Oh boy, buckle up, back out. Comes Talonflame. The opponent tried for the Thunderbolt catch. Nah. We hold our energy. Pivot back out into Talonflame. Talonflame gonna opt for the fly first as one Brave Bird won't be lethal. We don't quite want to debuff ourselves just yet. Talonflame should survive any one move. Oh boy, this game's over. Talonflame fires off the Brave Bird. Brave Bird easily going to pick up the one shot, even if the opponent has 1 bazillion energy, which of course you can't hold. Zapdos has the higher attack than Talonflame, so the safest play, I would say, is not look for this pivot, as Switch will take a turn. Oh boy, we actually go for the pivot, reach the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is going to pick up that one shot, so if the opponent was actually spamming the move there, would have actually got sniped, but it is what it is, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, commanding lead, the opponent say switches into Tapu Fini. We've got 2 very good answers in the back, but looks like Rolling in the Heat looks to force himself a shield advantage, firing off the Brave Bird before making the pivot into Riakou. Riakou will survive any one move. We've seen Riakou is quite glassy, so this Nature's Madness is going to do a lot, as well as force a debuff on our defense. Again, we're not quite doubled up, so if the opponent wants, they could shield this up to flip switch, but the opponent not wanting to go down 2 shields, opt to sack Tapu Fini. Venusaur gets very little farm before Talonflame re-enters the field of play. Sludge Bomb is survivable, but will get us low. Rolling the Heat like, nah, we're saving all shields for Zapdos. We fire off one further Incinerate and the Fly. Fly will be removing Venusaur from the field of play. Out comes Cobalion, and again we're full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh man, how many Brave Birds have been shielded today? Zapdos now enters the arena with a 2-0 shield advantage, and this game is essentially unlosable unless we were to look to shield flex. The opponent falls in the Stone Edge, which is their win con. We correctly shield, and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we've got a Kentucky Fried Chicken mirror match. We farm up, look to fire off the Brave Bird, losing CMP, which is probably better for us, as we can survive the Brave Bird, and the opponent now with a debuff defense cannot. Brave Bird forces that Protect Shield, and we see the pivot into Riakou. The opponent pivots out into Giratina, which isn't bad for us. We've already seen this Shadow Ball, despite not getting same type attack bonus, does absurd damage. Speaking of absurd damage, this Dragon Breath is tearing Riakou to shreds. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw. Riakou hangs on, reaching the Wild Charge. Riakou, you absolute monster. Wild Charge is resisted, but picks up the knockout, and out comes Greninja. Greninja gets a 1 Water Shrieking running start. We send out Zapdos. Zapdos, of course, needs to start deploying shields. The opponent, of course, go for the Night/Bait, knowing Zapdos essentially shields everything. Rolling the Heat makes a slight mistake here, playing to the CMP tie. He does not win, so the opponent could simply let this go and leave Talonflame with a Protect Shield looking to clean up. That's the play the opponent exactly does. Talonflame re-enters the arena. Zapdos gonna fire off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and there's the catch. We make a beautiful catch, catching the Flame Charge back onto Talonflame. Zapdos gonna be able to win the race and go for the BM Thunderbolt, vanquishing Talonflame back to his Pokeball. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's incredibly fun shoutcast. Huge shout out to Rolling the Heat. That was incredible. I am so jealous I haven't got a Riakou. Oh man, when are we going to be able to remote raid these shadow legendaries? I don't know, but I'm hoping it's 2025. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, link to my battle submission form is down below. And a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.